Okay.
Yeah.
Peace and love, everyone. Love and gratitude. And give thanks for tuning in to another Real Radio Talk. Of course, we have the Oracle here chiming in from South Africa. And we're going to seal up this spiritual relationship topic that we've been discussing part 3 ago. And now this is part 4. And we're going to clear up some last things that we didn't get a chance to do for part 3, and we'll do it for part 4. And we can switch the conversation, still stay on relationships, but it'll be a more general, a more broadband conversation, not like how we're narrowing it down right now. So I don't know if the Oracle wants to introduce himself before we get started. Also have, trying to fix my camera here. We also have Kushite Selassie that's going to chime in a few minutes from now, about 30 minutes or so from now. He's the owner and the creator of the Promise Key YouTube channel. Yes, he just came up on the screen letting us know he'll be right back. Well, for the meantime, me and the Oracle is going to keep the conversation flowing, and he'll introduce himself real quick, and then we could just, start talking about the topic, which will be the multiple relationships.
Yes. Yeah. Greetings everyone. Is the Oracle Prince. I've been here several times, so many people may know me, and those who are new to the podcast, it's the Oracle Prince from South Africa. I'm a shaman, an author, a philosopher, an artist. I paint, I do sculptures, and I'm also a farmer. And just like our great gods, I am that I am, is the Oracle Prince. May the blessings be. May the blessings be.
Yes. So Oracle, multiple relationships. That was the last thing you said, or one of the last things you said when we was podcasting. And you said that you would touch on that, like now. We on podcast now. I'm just trying to get my keyboard and stuff together. So what's the science behind the multiple relationships? Because I don't think everybody is a polygamist, so to speak. I don't think it's for everybody. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Me.
We don't hear you, Oracle.
I can hear you clearly.
Okay, we hear
I don't know if you can hear me. Yeah, it seems like there's a bit of a delay in the audio, but I will continue talking, and it might catch up as we go on with the show. Before I say anything, I would like to request that you turn down the volume on the music, because when you speak, it's kind of like distorting your words. I can hear you clearly.
Is that better?
Yes, yes, yes. May the blessings be. I give thanks. Spiritual relationships we talked about. Soulmates we talked about. We also spoke about the types of love that we as human beings give to one another, to each other, and the type of experiences we go through in relationships. Now we come to the part where the love is shared in multiple type of relationships. You know, when we speak of polygamy, the main question in most cases would be, is polygamy spiritual? Is polygamy something that is not a sin? You know, when you talk about those who believe in religious doctrines, they will tell you that having multiple partners is a sin. They will tell you about things like what do they call this? Adultery and infidelity. You know, they got all these kinds of names to relations that people acquaint themselves with. And when we look at that type of relationship, we need to understand first what is polygamy, what is love in general, like sharing your love with multiple people. As I said before, there's no limit to love. You know, you cannot limit what love does, how you can love and who you love. So in that case, you need to understand that distinguishing the relationship type of love and the general love is something that is going to give you a huge problem when you try to explain what it is that you're doing, more especially when you go and have multiple partners. Now, last time when we ended the show on the third part of our conversation, I wanted to talk about cheating. You know, because before we go to the polygamy side of things and sharing of love with multiple people or multiple partners, let us deal with the cheating part first. What is cheating? You know, according to society's understanding, and when I do my research through people that I help and people that I interact with, I find that the most common thing is that when you are in a relationship with someone whom you made promises to, that they will be the only one in your life, you will only share your feelings, your emotions, and your space with them, that promise becomes something that you ought to live by. If you include the third person into the equation, then it becomes cheating. Therefore, you have shared what you were supposed to share with me with another person. Therefore, you cheated on me. It may be emotional attachment, it may be physical attachment. When we speak in terms of intimate attachments, intimate relations, so that to the other person that you made promises to becomes cheating. Now, I've had many questions that people couldn't answer, which I had answers for, but I wanted to learn from people who make such promises. That the first question that I ask is, if I love you as a person, and I love my mother, I love my brothers, there are certain things that I share with them that I do not share with you. And there are certain things that I share with you that I do not share with those people. So where does the cheating part fit in that situation? And I found that the relationship between family members, like my brothers and sisters, my mother and father, somehow is different from the relationship that I have with my girlfriend or my wife, in a sense that I sleep with my wife, I sleep with my girlfriend, and these ones I do not share a bed with them. So in most cases, cheating has always revolved around sexual acts, sexuality, the intimate part. I find
what about kissing? Would you think kissing is a part of that too?
Kissing is also intimacy.
Right.
You see, everything that has to do with physical contact is a problem when you share it with multiple people. It becomes something that one gets to own when they have you as a partner. And in most cases, when you do your research and find out what really is that breaks relationships, that breaks marriages, that leads to divorce and separations, you find that the intimate part, the physical contact part is the main reason people break up. People lose interest. People lose what they used to call love. As I said before, love becomes hate. It tends to hate because you took what you used to share with me and shared it with another person. So I went deeper into the intimate part of the relationship and try to find out what it is that makes it so much important that if it is shared with multiple people, it is deemed as cheating. And I found that some people believe that being intimate with someone is more spiritual. It's more of a spiritual contact with the person than just connecting with them on a social level,
Right.
and according to my understanding, the spiritual connection should be broad. It shouldn't be based on certain individuals sharing something. But now, what I receive from many people's explanations is that the spiritual connection now becomes sacred. It's a sacred thing. When we get married, we combine our souls. We are joined together, we become one. So when you take that and share it with another person, I've heard many people say you will go and fetch certain energies from that person and bring it to our marriage or our relationship, and therefore when you sleep with another person, you bring their low vibrating self to me. All of those
That's
things
true. That's true.
were explained in a more philosophical way, and it's more it has value. It is something that people can live by. People can have an order of living through that understanding. But now, to me, it raises many questions that if you are going to base your understanding of love and marriage on the sex being important and having to be shared amongst only two people and not with other people, then you should be also following certain orders that keeps those values pure. And that brings us to the laws that were made in ancient times, that you need to stay a virgin until you get married. And once you are married, you therefore can share your body with the one who marries you. But today, it's highly impossible. So we have a problem when it comes to that part. And again, you meet someone today who has been with partners before they met you, and when they come to you, it is expected that both of you will be faithful to each other, will carry on sharing the intimacy amongst yourselves and not bring in other people from outside. But what happens when you both decide to break the relationship and move on? Are you carrying the spirit of that person to another relationship as you would when you are cheating? Those are the questions that are raised in many occasions. And I will answer those questions as I go along with the topic, more especially when I will be talking about the polygamy side of things. Um, can we say for sure and for certain that intimacy is what builds a relationship? Like how much percentage can we put on that? Is it that what makes up a strong relationship is 80% intimacy and 20% social connection?
Are you still
Okay,
there,
I guess I
Oracle?
have to answer that.
Oh,
I'm
so you're
still here.
asking
I
me a
just I
question?
just
Okay.
asked the question.
Okay, I thought that you were asking a question. Yes, but you was asking a question to give the answer at the same time. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so repeat the question again. Let me see if I can answer.
I'm asking how much percentage can we put on the intimate relation between two people? Can we say it's 80% more than the social connection between the two people? Because remember, in a relationship you have the connection that is social, where you share communication, you share your thoughts, you share your space and everything, and then you share that part which is so important that it breaks relationships, which is the intimate part. And what I was asking is that how important is the intimacy in a relationship? Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Did you hear the question?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. I will just pass. We will come back to that question later on. I'm guessing maybe I'm not audible enough. Maybe we can just turn down the music.
I heard you. I was just thinking on that answer. I can hear you very clear. I don't know if you can hear my side, but I can hear you very clear.
I can hear you, but I also hear the music in the background.
Yeah, the music in the background, I can still hear you though. That's like on number 3, the music. You can't hear me because of that playing in the background,
Okay.
is what you're saying?
Yeah, because I'm listening from the headphones, so the music is a bit louder than your voice.
Do you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we will come back to the question that I asked. Let me just move along to the polygamy. In ancient times, Marriages were arranged. We all know that. We all know that in arranged marriages, there were certain rules that had to be followed, and in that, um, women were more vocal than what's happening these days. Um, I was told by my grandmother that when you had to marry um, a second wife, the first wife was the one who made the choice for you. They would tell you they can't do certain duties anymore due to maybe the fact that they have grown, or certain duties are too heavy for them. So they would ask you to take a helper, to take a second wife to come and help in the household. And in most cases, children will be children will be born from both sides, and the progeny will carry on the legacy. That's how things were done back then. So I don't know how the love part was working out there, because what we deem as love these days, as I said before, has some kind of a selfish type of ownership, whereby what is mine, and therefore no one else can have it. So yeah, so yeah. So these days, when it comes to polygamy, it's no longer the wife telling the husband that we need a helper, and the wife going to choose the helper to come and be the second wife. These days, we find men going out there finding second wives for themselves, marrying them and having multiple partners out there in the name of polygamy. So I find it hard to understand if this is the evolved part of the polygamy, or if it's just for selfish reasons, for certain people's type of fulfillment. When someone wants to please themselves with certain things, they will do them and have a certain word for that, and say, no, I'm a polygamist, but what you're doing is just for your own gain, So when it comes to that, I still need to understand where people who do that, where they come from, because in my view, what love is something that can be shared with anyone, anywhere, anytime, regardless of the type of relationship you have with a person. You can have love abundantly, you can have limitless love unconditionally. But now, when it comes to these relationships where you have to pick and choose and say, okay, this one is my girlfriend, and this one is my side girlfriend, and this one is my concubine, and all of that, you put these classifications, and also include love in it. Therefore, it becomes some sort of something that is confusing even to the person who is doing that. Now, when we go to the spiritual part of things, remember when we spoke the last time, we said we have spiritual wives and spiritual husbands. That is, I'm going to quote what my friend said on the show, that love thyself first, love the inner person first before you can express that love outside. So the spiritual love now becomes what you love is yourself, and then when you go out and share that love, I think it's going to be fair for you to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But now there's something that just baffles me out of all this. You find men who say they are polygamists. They can marry 4, 5, 6 wives. Yet they refuse to have even one of those wives marrying another man.
Of course. What's mine is mine. That's not going to be allowed. No way. Oh no, they can dish it, but they can't take it. That's the flip side. That's the flip side of polygamy. It's like the man can do it. He can take it. He can do it, but he can't take it. If he take it, he only can take it but for so long, and then after a while he's saying, no, you got to make a decision. You got to choose me or them. But it ain't going to be both.
Yeah. Yeah.
The woman, she'll be more submissive to that program, and it'll just be him with the 6 wives. But the moment she says, well, then I can't do it too because I'm attracted to the man down the street and he's single and he has money. The husband is like, no. Even though he has 6 other wives, he don't want one of them wives to be shared.
Which brings me now to the selfish kind of love that we have as human beings. We think that what we share with people, as long as they obey and abide by what we lay down for them to follow, that is love. Exactly. Of which it's something else. It's something else because as I said before, expectations and laying down rules is nothing but a selfish thing that you are doing for yourself, and you cannot call it love if it's only benefiting you and not the next person. When you love someone, you should love them enough to let them be who they want to be, to let them do what they want to do with their own bodies, which we are not doing. We are always in a state of position. If I come to you and say, I want you to be my wife, you see, I am positioning you in a certain way that you are going to be my position. I'm going to own you. You are going to be my wife. Therefore, there will be expectations, there will be rules to follow. And of course, it also happens both sides. Even women, when you are my husband, you ought to live a certain way. You ought to do certain things that shows me as your wife that you are faithful to me, devoted to me. If you do something that I don't like, therefore you have broken those rules, and then it may be that this whole relationship will be over. And what happens to the love now? The love also dies.
Right.
And I've said before, love doesn't die.
See on the screen? You see on the screen what one of the listeners said? You read her comment on the screen?
I see Queen B Africa saying, right, that is baffling to me.
She's talking about when you were saying how the man can have 6 women, but don't want the woman to have more than one man. So she's responding to that part. I don't know if you want to on that. I just want to let you know that somebody was replying.
Yeah. To elaborate more on that is basically saying that it's unfair. We don't understand what love really is. We think that the expectations that we have are what defines love. We think that if I say to you, I love you, those words belongs to you and only you, and I cannot say them or repeat them to someone else, because if I do that, I have betrayed you. This is where the part of ownership comes to play. This is where when more especially when it comes to men, I know most of the men out there are going to be angry at me because I'm also a man, so yeah.
Oh well, sometimes the truth may hurt, but it's not a sin. It's not a sin to tell the truth. Maybe they need to hear this truth. Maybe change their ways.
Yeah, but this type of chauvinist type of mentality and rulership that men have been perpetuating throughout the years, it needs to come to a stop at some point, because we have killed so many of our goddesses with these ideas that we have brought to this planet, and we are continuing to destroy even ourselves, with such ideas. I am not saying polygamy is wrong. I am not saying sharing yourself, your body with multiple people is wrong. No, everyone has a right to do whatever they want to do with their bodies. It's your body, it's your experience here on earth. You choose what you want to experience, and you choose what you are collecting for your divine spirit, so it's got nothing to do with me. I'm not the judge of that. All I am saying is that what are we doing? How are we doing these things? Is there fairness in what we do? Is there real understanding in both sides? Where the man is concerned and the woman is concerned, is there fairness? Because the reason I wanted to emphasize even on the cheating part is that once you understand what you deem as cheating, then you will understand why you do what you do. Because you have people who are in a polygamist type of relationship, and you have people who are not in a polygamist type of relationship, but they still share their bodies with multiple partners. So what is the difference there? Because someone will say to you, in a polygamy type of situation, there's marriage, there's a certain order that is followed. There are certain things that are done in a likely manner that it is agreed on both sides, where the wife agrees for you to go and take another wife. But now, on the other side, we say it's cheating because you do it without your wife's concern. You do it in hiding. You hide it. You don't show that you're doing that. But that's the only difference. That's the only difference. The fact that you're doing it without someone's approval. That's the only difference. But all in all, in general, you're all doing the same thing. You're sharing your body with multiple partners. You're sharing that love with multiple partners, and
Oh, sorry, family. It looks like his connection may have dropped. So be patient with us, and he'll be back on in a few seconds. Yes, Queen B, Africa, I see your comment. Yes, I believe it is selfish and comes from a place of insecurity within them. Yes, I agree. Definitely comes in with the insecurity. Like, if I could do it, you can do it, and I can't do it, there's some insecurity deeply rooted in that situation. And then some narcissist behavior is definitely mixed in with that too. I want it to go my way and my way only. I don't want you to do what I'm doing, because I can do it. That doesn't mean you can do it. It's different when you do it, I think that's the mentality that they come from. Like, only the man can do it. The woman shouldn't be able to do it, And if the woman do it, then she's labeled as a whore. But as long as he's doing it, it's okay. He's not a whore. Or it's been more accepted by society because society would think that it's okay for the man to do it because he's a man. Society has planted that in our mind. But I know differently. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. It still should be equally shared. So, to back up, since we got Oracle on the screen, Queen B was saying that she believes that it's selfish and it comes from a place of insecurity within them. Before you guys dropped off the panel, that's what me and her were discussing.
Yeah. My apologies. My apologies. I got kicked out. I don't know. Maybe the men out there are just punishing me for saying the things that I'm saying.
Yeah, but you know what? When you left, me and Queen B just picked up right where you left off, and we were saying that they want to do it, but they don't want the woman to do it, And that's where the selfishness and insecurity comes from. So, and then society makes it think that because you're a man that it's more acceptable for men to do it, you know. But when a woman does
Yeah.
it, she can be a whore, you know, she's a slut and all those bad names. But if the man can do it, he
Yeah.
won't necessarily be labeled that way. But I don't see it that way. I see it as if he's being a whore, if he's doing if she's doing the same thing he's doing, and it's called being a whore, then both of them is being a whore. It's not because he's a man, he's not, and because she's a woman, she is. They're both doing it, you know. But society will say that a woman shouldn't have more than one man because if she does, she's considered a whore. But a man can have more than one woman and he won't be considered a whore necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, like
And
the broader scope will say, no, well, that's what men do, but women shouldn't do it. But smaller people, the smaller scope, which the scope that we're in, will say, no, it's wrong on both sides then. If he doesn't want it done to him, then he shouldn't do it to her.
oh, and they got reasons, you know. They don't just do things without reasoning, you know. They got reasons for that. I've heard people say it's because women are the ones who carry babies, so therefore you cannot carry the oracle's baby and carry Steve's baby and John and Tom and Harry. Your children will have different ancestry. You know, they will have different into different clans, where else a man can go and have multiple children with multiple partners and they will still be that man's children. You know, they will fall in the man's lineage. They will be of his ancestry. You know, if I am Prince Khoza and I have 5 wives, all my children will be the Khoza children. But now, if you're a woman and you have multiple husbands and then they all give you children, your children will be the Khoza, the Smith, different lineages. But now it brings me to one of the topics that we ought to have one day, where we talk about the surname, the origins of a surname, where it comes from. When did we start being called by our father's names, as they call it, a surname in English?
Or your last name.
You know, your last name, yeah, because that is the only thing that is making excuses for all these things, you know, for these men who are, you know, having polygamous relationships and refusing women to have the same. Because we will get to that topic one day, where we talk about the surname, the last name, because I've written an article. Yeah.
Check it out. That's an easy one because the Native Americans of America, they give the child the mother's last name. It's the matriarch system that they go by. So you automatically go under your mother's lineage. Of course, you're related to your father. Of course, your father's family matters. But when it comes down to bloodline and DNA and mitochondria, it's always from the mother side. So that's why you will get the mother's last name. Well, one of the reasons why you get the mother last name. It wasn't until the Europeans came in with their patriarch system and they flipped the script and switched things around and like, no, the last name should be of the man and not the woman. Because the man didn't have a problem with the child having the mother's lineage last name. It was never an issue until the European presence came when
because
they're
they
dominant
wanted to
and
be
need
to be
control.
bosses. They
Yeah,
wanted to rule
exactly.
over women. Yeah.
That's when all of that was changed till you get your father's last name. And in my father's house there are many mansions and everything is father, 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 son, Holy Spirit, or just father, or just son. The woman thing has just been, purposely scratched out. But the Native Americans, they have that, and different cultures around the world too,
Yeah.
all in Africa, all in India, where they hold up the matriarch concept. You are under your mother's name. Even in most places in Africa, when they want to make real decisions, the queen mother is who they're going to go to after the chief. The chief will say yay, but if the queen mother says nay, then it's nay.
Exactly.
And it's not because the chief didn't have a say in it, because he did say his part. But the queen mother's
Exactly.
like, no, honey, this ain't going to work because this, that, and the third. And she point out things he didn't see and, things that he didn't recognize, but she see it. And he's like, yeah, it does make sense. That would be an issue or that would cause a problem. So we go to the queen mother to make sure what we're going to do is right because she's going to give us the correct answer. So will the chief. The chief will give correct answers too. But even he wants to consult with the queen mother. Even he doesn't feel fulfilled with his question and answer until he gets her approval that the decision he made was correctly. You get where I'm going with that? So they never had a problem with the man child
Yeah,
child being named behind the mother. They never had a problem with that. Europeans have a problem with that because they have a problem with women. They have a problem with matriarch because they're gay or they want to have dominance over things and kill and steal and destroy. So they on either side of the fence. You know what I mean? In between don't work for them. Yeah,
that's true. And
brothers forget that.
Even the direction.
Mm-hmm.
The direction I was taking with this type of topic was to where we need to understand the importance of a woman, in the relationship and in the upbringing of children. Because remember, we have suppressed women for such a long time that they have also accepted their place where we put them. I've heard many women rooting for men, standing for these patriarchal type of dictatorship. There are women who would stand and fight for that. They will, and they teach their children the same values. They teach their children the same doctrines, because the first thing that the child learns is from the mother. We only get to see our fathers when we start, opening our eyes and start talking and start realizing and recognizing our surroundings. But way before that, everything we learn is from the mother. But now, if our mothers have been brainwashed by men, the word is gonna be the man's word. So we all know the man is the head of the family. I don't know in other cultures what they call women, but in other cultures they say the women are the neck. The man is the head, the woman is the neck. Some say
the neck makes the head turn. Go up and down. And she's the neck and the spinal cord. She's holding the head up.
Yeah.
And that's the queen mother, and that's the chief. The queen mother is holding up the chief. He knows that the head and the spinal cord is the one that gives him his head to turn up and down.
And the head can move sideways or up and down without the neck. It can't function without the neck.
So because they know that she's the neck of this.
Yeah.
I have to laugh at it, you know? You have to get a joy off it.
But now we have the head that has the privilege of enjoying and doing all these kind of things that are satisfactory to the head, and the neck just has to be there to drive the head to the directions that it wants to look at, and that's the only function that the neck must have, you know. But the head can look every direction, desire and consume what it wants, where else the neck is the one. Yeah, but it's fine. I'm done stepping on toes tonight.
Okay.
So let me.
Has another comment on the screen. You might want to address it because it's basically tying into what we're talking about.
Okay, she's saying yes, and they believe that an heir should only be a man and carry on the legacy of the last name from his forefathers. That's true. That's true, because even if we can look at the royal families, you know, the kingdoms, a king is followed by a prince, you know, and the prince will sit upon the throne once the king has died. It's only when there is no prince that the princess is given a chance to rule, but it's not really her rule, you know, because there will be men who are driving forces behind that. That's why when you go back in time, in ancient times, this whole system of the patriarchal kingdoms and rulership, dictatorships and stuff, it never existed until certain people came from their caves, from the mountains, and came to distort the whole order that was there before. I'm speaking from a Khoi San perspective. You know, the Khoi and the San people, they never had leaders like a king and a queen. You know, though these days I'm so surprised they do. You know, they moving with times. They also want to be, you know, included in the system, but their natural order, the ancient order of the Khoi San people, they never had such. You know, there were no monarchies, there were no kingdoms, there were no the leaders of the families were women. Mothers were the leaders of the families. The men went out there to hunt and gather fruits, gather food, bring it back to the household. The women were responsible for the upbringing of children, for the laws, you know, for they were responsible for also grooming the culture within society. You know, it was a woman's role to do that. And that was an order that had them surviving and living in harmony amongst each other, because they understood the order and nature of things. Hence we get the understanding of the feminine god. You know, when we talk about the creator, you know, we have the most dominant part of the creator being the feminine side. But you don't say that to modern people these days. They will hang you.
Say that again.
So
Say that last part
that
again.
I was saying that that was the order that they used to live by, and they survived and lived in harmony with each other, with the understanding of the creator being the feminine divine part. But the last thing I said was that you don't say that to modern people these days because they will hang you. It's called blasphemy. you know you
But we
don't
doing a
you
lot of
don't call
blasphemy right
you don't
now.
call God you don't call God a female, you will be hanged.
Yes, for sure.
What's wrong with God being female?
Ask
What's
the
wrong with not being a
Christians and
female?
ask the Holy Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, because I don't hear the Holy Mother, the daughter, and the Holy Spirit. I only hear the Son and the Father.
And the Holy Ghost, right? That ghost or the spirit.
Yeah, and that ghost becomes a man when they unpack it and explain it further. The ghost becomes a man in the end.
Right.
It's never a woman. Yeah, it only becomes a woman when she's a virgin who gave birth to a man who's a god.
Yes. The only time when she's recognized exactly is when she's said to have given birth to a returned God or a returned king or a returned guru or a returned shaman or returned somebody that was special some hundreds of years ago. That's when she will matter. Then
Yeah,
after that, she don't matter no more.
yeah. So that's why she doesn't even matter when it comes to polygamy, when it comes to having multiple partners and all of that, because it is the order that was created to rule over women. Women are not supposed to have certain privileges, because I see that as a privilege. If you can have multiple partners, wow, you are enjoying yourself. You have all these women helping you, because men say women are their helpers. So now you have 5 helpers or 10 people who are helping you, and you're alone. You're a king. You are above all. They say a man is measured by his wealth, so even having multiple women is part of the wealth. But hey, I'm the Oracle Prince. I do not judge. I'm just saying.
Well, sometimes you have to judge in order to make a conscious decision on how it's going to affect things. You got to have some kind of discernment on what you're doing and how you're moving in life and who's in your life and who's in your circle and things. Because check it out, you have your children, you have grandchildren, whatever it is, or loved ones, and if you know that they're going to go in harm's way, you're going to tell them. You're not going to say, oh, I don't want to judge, and they may think I'm judging their friends or judging where they want to go or hang out at. But you're not judging. You just see danger, and you want to help them before they go into danger. You want to stop the danger. So sometimes you have to use your judgment. You're not going to let your children just hang around any kind of friends. You see those friends are up to no good, you're going to have to make a conscious judgment to say, hey, son, hey, daughter, that's not a friend. That's not somebody you need to be around. So you're not judging. You're just looking at it from a realistic point of view and speaking on it in real time. I mean, people going through this in real life. This is not judgment. This is what's happening. And we're just happen to be the ones who pick through that. Not everybody wants to pick through these things, and we're picking through it, because it's always hidden. It's always hidden, like it's not there, and it's there. We're just calling out what's obvious, but it's not obvious, obviously, because people don't see it, because it's so part of the normal social, living, social way of living.
If we can do away with the type of love that we have set out for ourselves, I think we can be fair to one another.
Mm-hmm.
We can be fair, because the reason we have people who are so miserable out there, people who are depressed, it's because of these expectations. You go into a relationship with certain expectations, and believe me, no one can live up to your expectations fully. They cannot fully satisfy you 100%. No one can do that. Even though you can take the person and lay all the rules on the table and tell them, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, they will somehow make a mistake and not follow those rules. And when they don't live up to your expectations, then it becomes a disappointment. And that disappointment leads to you either wanting to walk away from the relationship, or either wanting to do something to hurt them in return, all because they couldn't live up to your expectations. So all I've been saying throughout these parts of the podcast, this is the fourth part where we are speaking about this, and I've been saying the same thing over and over. I'm repeating it again today. Let us stop making our expectations to be love. Let us stop saying, I love you with conditions. That is not love. Excuse me.
Yes, bless up, Oracle.
Yeah, I think the ancestors are joining in today in the conversation.
That's right. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You just said it in words, but I was thinking it. But you have a message on the screen, Oracle. Someone is commenting on what you were saying, 2 sentences ago. That's our brother who just said he'll be back. And he's back now.
Okay. I see he's saying, that's why I want her to leave my house. With her living here, it's still like we are in a relationship. To the outside world, how does that look when I try to build something with somebody? I'm not sure if I follow what that means.
Okay, well, here's part 2 of that question. Here's the continuation of it.
Okay, I see it. It says, by her living in my house, I still feel like I'm carrying her, and I don't want to carry her into another relationship. Okay, so this person has another relationship, and the woman who still wants to be a part of his life while he has another relationship.
No.
Am I?
No, that's not what he's saying. What he's saying is that
okay.
When he say that's why I want her to leave my house, he's talking about an ex girlfriend of his that's still living with him.
Okay.
And how could he even think
Yeah.
about trying to move on and get into a new relationship if she's still living in the house?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So he's saying, by her still living in my house, I feel like I'm carrying her. And I don't want to carry her into another relationship. So let's just say if he's interested in someone else, he can't even get with that person because she's still living in his house.
Okay, but what is the reason for their breakup, the separation? Is it because the man is tired of this woman, her behavior, or something?
I hope you're still listening, Kushai Selassie, because we get into the grit of this question, as you're saying. Well, not question, but the comment you're putting out there. I would assume they didn't work out, and
Okay.
maybe she couldn't move right away, so he was giving her time to sort herself out. But now he wants her out because he wants to move on with his life.
Okay, you know what this brings us to? It brings us to the part of the conversation we once had on this show, where we spoke about the obsession, where love becomes an obsession. Because in this case, these two people once promised each other certain things, and there were expectations in that. This is where you tell somebody that I love you, I want you in my life, and this is the type of life I want us to live. I want us to build this and that. And then somebody does not live up to that. Disappointments come. And then you decide, I don't want this anymore because it's not working for me anymore. But now that person is already attached. That person is already obsessed with the idea that you planted in them. Remember, when you propose a certain relationship to somebody, you also plant certain ideas in their heads, and they fall. Listen to this. They fall in love with that. They fall in love with the ideas that you plant in their heads. And once they get attached to those ideas, sometimes it becomes, you don't want to be in that relationship anymore because the person has obsessed over the ideas that you both were creating in each other during the course of the time you had a relationship. That's what is happening now. She doesn't want to leave because she's obsessed with a certain idea. You want her to leave because you're no longer in that idea.
Let me see if I got some replies on the comments. Well, he did text me and said that he's listening, so I guess he'll he'll get to that momentarily. What was I going to say? I don't know, David. You have something you might want to share? You on mute, David, so we can't hear you, hon. Can't hear you, big bro.
I don't, because I don't even understand the part where.
Wait a minute, David. Come closer to the mic because you sound far away.
Okay, I don't even understand the reason behind still being in the domicile.
Yeah, he's not audible.
Yeah, it's too far, David. You sound far away.
Hold on. I don't know how to make it any better.
Okay, well, I guess it is what it is. Try your best.
All right.
Yell like you're mad, right?
Huh?
I said yell like you're mad.
Yeah, all right. Well, I don't even understand the part where she's still there at the domicile. Okay, I can understand that that's his place. Okay, every woman has a backup plan. If you didn't have a backup plan for this not working out, then why are you still there? I don't know.
You would what?
If it were me, I would go ahead with my plans for my moving on. Whether she's there or not, I have to be creative about when I want to bring them home. I don't know, even wanting to bring them home. You don't want to make your new girl think you're using her to get rid of your old girl. And then there's some animosity that's created there. So, to me, your time's up. Get out. So I can move on.
Just like that, David.
If you want to still be friends, if you want to still be friends, hey, that's good. But being friends with someone and then looking for a new girl, and then you tell your new girl, I'm going to go comfort my friend. I mean, no. She's gonna try within her power to try to get you back. And me,
that's one of the reasons why
I don't lie to my women. So I'm not gonna say, well, I went over there and this led to this and this led to that. Oh, get out.
Oh, David, you must be on Scrooge time right now.
I must be on what?
You must be on Krusty Krab time right now.
No. No. I'm just saying. If I'm
David, you must be on Krusty Krab time right now.
I'm not gonna give a dead relationship more time unless I'm hunting zombies.
Right.
I'm not gonna give it that much more time. And hell, and if it's a dead relationship and I'm hunting zombies, she's gonna be the first one to go.
Well, that's David's opinion.
Yeah.
Queen B said that I understand it. I'm in the same situation as we speak. That's Queen B Africa. So this is like a divine order conversation. It's not a coincidence.
Kick her out. Kick him out, Queen B.
Yeah.
Kick him out. Put his ass out. Out. There's no reason in the world not to have that backup plan. Get your own place. Get out. Start over. Shit. The hell out.
But sometimes it's not that easy. It's not that easy, brother David. As I said, when you have attached yourself and started to obsess over a certain idea, it's hard for you to it's like an addiction. If you can just look at it at an addiction, when you're addicted to something, for you to leave that addiction, you have to go through withdrawal symptoms. You have to go through a lot, and in this case the withdrawal will be you fathoming the fact that you have lost your partner, and now you have to live with the idea of not having them in your life anymore. Now you have to move on. How do you move on from the the usual, things that you are used to, your day to day normal, because everything will change. Everything has to change. You now have to wake up alone. You don't have to wake up next to David anymore. You now have to go through a day without calling David. And you were used to calling David 3, 4, 5 times a day. The order of your life changes completely. And you are attached to that type of life. You are used to that type of life. And it's not easy. It's not easy.
But to speak from experience, and this is David in his life, whatever I put into it, it takes that long for me to settle. If I'm in a relationship for 8 years, it takes me almost 8 years to be totally clear. I don't know why that is with me. I really can't say, but it has to start. That day has to start sometime. So, and with me, I know it's like that. So I have to start that day soon. So if I'm at the end of my 8-year relationship, I'm getting ready to one minus that relationship. It has to start. If it doesn't, it's just going to take me that much longer. So
This
100% with that girl, you can be 95% without that girl for a long period until you decide to fill that gap. And that's the last relationship, 15 years. It's been over 15 years since I partnered. So now I have someone. So it's not even that thought about that past. It's like telling a horror story.
But now let me tell you what expectations do to you. What expectation does is that what you are used to becomes a part of you. Hence you have people calling each other soulmates, calling each other spiritual partners. That attachment that you created over the years, it became part of you. And now when you move on and you find someone new, you still have a part of somebody with you. Hence, when you go into a new relationship, you go with now different expectations, but still having those expectations from your past, looking for certain signs. People say once bitten and twice shy, meaning that what you went through in your past relationship will always be a caution in your new relationship. Whenever you see signs, telltale signs of things that could go wrong, your eyes are always open to that. You're always looking out for such things. And now you are therefore living your past life in the present life, but with a different person. Always looking out for yourself, guarding yourself with the experience you had from the past. Now, the person who doesn't want to move on, these are the type of people who say, rather I live with the devil I know than move on to something that I do not know. So I rather have bad times with you than good times with someone else, as Luther Vandross sang it.
That's
yeah, because you know what? That's how deep the soul tie can get. You can be tied so tight that you would start conditioning yourself and making yourself believe that I'd rather do bad with him than good without him.
No.
Or bad with him, with her, and good without her. For real, you have people that's really in a state of mind like that. They're in a situation like the sister Queen Bee Africa was saying that, okay, she says, I'm in Ghana, so it's totally different rules. When the time comes for one of them to leave, then that will happen. But right now, you know, we have to acknowledge this soul tie that's been made. So it's not easy to say just put her ass out of there, even though her ass needs to be out of there, or his ass needs to be out of there. You know, both of their asses need to go and just find a whole new location altogether, you know? But we got to remember the soul tie. That tie got to start untying, unloosening. It has to start loosening up, before they can start separating and saying, okay, they got to get so tired of each other that it's easy to untie the tie. Let's just say
it was easy.
They got to get so tired of being tied to each other.
It was easy to untie that knot. Yeah, I purged.
Okay, but check it out. Even Queen Bee Africa just said now, it still depends on the backstory. What happened? What caused the breakup? Do the person have a place to go if you put them out? And the reason why they still there is because they don't really have nowhere to go. They didn't save enough money.
For some people, it's about the power of control. So when you find out that someone's been cheating on you after all that time, they use that power against you. They can, I hate to tell my story, but they can set you up in a way where it gets you out of the house. And if you're in an unknown place, it is a struggle. But you have to have the willpower. You have to have the will and the strength to just dig yourself out that grave and just pull yourself up through that dirt and stand up. You just have to do it. It's not even a like or dislike to it. It's you wanting to rescue you. So to me, it's a mind switch. I got to do this, and this. And I was raising my child at the time. He was almost 18, but the hell, ain't no sense in continuing this. You got to put a lot of things in perspective. My emotions and my feelings didn't even matter because I was still raising my child. So he watched me go from good times, struggle, good times, bad times, struggle, good times. And now his marriage is wholesome. He watched that. He knew what he wanted, and he knew how he wanted to get it. So sometimes what you go through can help somebody else learn from your experience without experiencing it themselves. I got the hell up out of there. It was a switch. I didn't care. I didn't care about her feelings, but I cared about mine enough to show my son, you don't have to go through this shit. You don't have to go through this shit at all. So it was, that relationship got the boot. I had no place to go. I eventually found a place to go. In the meantime, I was just out there. But, hey, I was hitting it strong. Then I went through what I call
we need to have someone.
I purged. I got that bad.
We need to have someone explain
all the way back down to day one. And even at that, I smiled at the end of it because it was over. and I moved on. I made a decision not to do anything the same way I did before.
So listen, what if it may be the brother may be going through a spiritual lesson, as Queen B Africa says on the screen, and until he learns it, he won't be free of her. Maybe that's another reason why she's not leaving the house. Because this is a lesson on both of them, him and her.
It is a lesson on both of them, but somebody was already prepared. One of them was already prepared for the breakup. Side chick, side dude, somebody was already prepared. So they had someplace to go.
Yeah, somebody must have made a decision, or the other one was not prepared.
Long ago, and decided to go ahead and act.
Hence, they still stuck. Yeah.
And so that partnership right there is dissolved, and the other partner didn't know it's dissolved. That's where you get a lot of the bad blood from.
But also there is also the part where we must consider when they made vows to each other through sickness and in health, and also only death can do us apart. Some people take that to heart. Some people take that serious, and they want to live by it and hope that it keeps them together forever. So when somebody says, I will be with you through sickness and in health, through good and bad times, they really mean it. They are in it to withstand all of that. But now I understand what you're saying, Brother David, that someone was prepared. Someone was prepared to leave all of that, but the other person is not prepared to leave all of that because they are living up to the vows, where they say, even though we're going through a rough patch, even though we're going through what we're going through right now, it will pass. We can make it through this. We can still pull through and be a happy couple, and only death can do us apart. But now it's either they are genuinely and truly rooting and fighting for that, or they are obsessed. One of the two. They are obsessed with the idea of having you in their lives, or they are fighting for the vow. The thing of saying, I will not back down on my word. I said I will be with you till death do us apart, and that's what I'm going to do.
When you say that, I picture one thing. I picture someone drowning, and you go out there and you rescue them. And when you get to them, you tell them, "Okay, I got you. Just relax, lay back, and I will get you out of this." Okay, so you put your arm around them. Start swimming back to shore, and they panic again, and they panic to the point where they're about to bring you under too. They feel like, if I'm going to be miserable, you're going to be miserable too. So in order to save your life,
that's how it goes, for real. Don't stand, you're gonna be
in order to save your life, you have to work towards calming them back down, or you let them go.
Well, Queen B says that we're discussing a question that we don't have the entire story, so it's all speculation at this point. She's talking about Kushite Selassie situation. And that is true. We don't have all the full information. I mean, I have it because we spoke earlier, but I think it'll be more comfortable if he either said it in the chat or he came on the panel and spoke about it himself.
Understood.
Yeah, you know.
I was only speaking from
But she's right. You're speaking from experience / speculation because we don't know what's going on the brethren other side, but you're speaking from your experience, you know, and you're giving your feedback about it. The Oracle is coming with his vibes. You know how it go. I'm saying what I'm saying, and Queen Bee Africa is saying what she's saying. But at the end of the day, I think Kushai Selassie will be able to walk away with a lot of stuff right now. He'll be able to, I think starting today, he'll know how to channel this situation a lot more better. Because if you want to even think about dating again, you can't have nobody else living with you, especially an ex-girlfriend. Because I'm telling you, from a woman's point of view, if you say, hey, you know, let's get together and I'm digging you and you're digging me, and then you say, oh, by the way, my ex-girlfriend still lives with me and she's been there for X amount of time, I can't get her out, but we're not together, I'm not going to believe that. And that might be so true what you're telling me. You might be telling me the absolute truth, but I won't believe that. Right. But it'd be hard for me to believe that. And your ex-girlfriend that's living with you, she's not going to make it easy for you to believe either. She's going to talk about her little snares and her little, you know, stumbling blocks and all those obstacles to make me feel like something is going on when you're just there because you can't find a place to go right away, you know? So,
yeah.
No, you know, so he's definitely going to be able to walk away with some type of advice. And
well,
he also says, okay, so we got Kushai Selassie responding, David. Let's see what it would say. Let me see. If that's the reason men feel like a conduit and women can then, they can't do it either. Think about it. How the hell do men carry their sperm? I think he's talking about the last thing we talked about.
The baggage.
So now he says, so the woman's
what
bloodline,
was that?
Okay, so he says the woman's bloodline doesn't count. Who are these insecure brothers that think like this? What? A lot of them think like that. A lot of them. They come with this patriotic mindset. They could be Kemet, they could be Moor, they could be Islam, they could be what, Ifa, whatever you want it to be. Patriarch is
everywhere in the world you find men with
it's been ingrained, and it's been sewn and weaved and webbed into society worldwide, you know, that even just having your mother's last name could be an insult when that's supposed to be a congratulations, but it's looked at as an insult, you know. I have my father's last name, which is fine,
and coming to that, we need to decipher it from way back, because if you take your mother's last name, you will be taking her father's last name, because your mother might be using her father's last name. So when we want to go that route, we need to root it out from where it started, you know, where the last name started functioning as a father's name. Because if you look into Africa, the clans, you know, the tradition was that your clan must have a totem, you know, a totem. There are praise names and all that. It was never a person's name, but it was something that describes what you and your people do. You know, if you are people who are named after a certain animal, you know, they can call you a cow or a sheep or whatever animal, but they have those names in African languages. There would be, these people were taking care of certain animals, you know, these people were shamans, these people were workers in the fields, these people were gatherers, hunters. They will call you according to your connections. That's how the last names, most last names in Africa, that's what they mean. um
Yes.
if you ask the Zulu people, there are people who are called by the Zulu as a last name, and Zulu is not a name of somebody, but it is something that describes the heavens. It describes the sky. When you say Izulu, you are describing the heavens, the sky. So it's people who hail from the sky. That's why they are called Zulu. So that's what the last name used to be in an African context. It used to um, be something that describes who you are and what you do as a being. But now those who came with last names as surnames, they started now calling themselves with their father's names. Hence you have names like Smith, Joshua, Johnson. Those are names of a certain man and it became a surname. So yeah, before I step onto other toes again, I will just stop there.
Right before we get into the last name conversation, right?
Yeah, yeah, but we will have a podcast based on that one day, and I will step on toes for real.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, because I have an English last name for sure, for sure. My last name is Moore. My father's is
Yeah,
Slang. So, and then my mother's side would be Gordon. That's another English last name, or maybe
and
Irish.
you see, in Africa, names have a meaning. Whether it's a last name or your first name, the names have meanings. Those English names, I'm not sure if they have meanings because they just sound like it's somebody's name. A certain guy who was doing whatever and he became the patriarchal leader, and then people were called after his name. But yeah, that's a topic for another day.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
I'm just trying to see if I can locate it.
So yeah, last time when we were doing part 3, we were also talking about consulting, where people go to oracles and shamans to consult about their partners, looking into the future, trying to find out what the relationship is going to be like, whether it's good for them or not. But now we can also add that to the breakup part, with the situation of our brother there, where the woman doesn't want to leave and he wants her to leave. In that case, you can also go the spiritual route. You can go and consult with your shaman and your oracles, just to find out what it is that is making this woman to want to stick around, because sometimes you may think you know why she's obsessing over you, or why she still wants to hang on to you, but you find that there might be a deeper reason more than that. Just like the comment that said, um, it might be to the fact that the woman has certain reasons that you do not know about as a man, yet you have already made your decision, that I don't want her anymore. But now she is stuck with a certain feeling or a certain thing that is holding her in that relationship. Perhaps you could be helped, if you go and consult and find out what it is that is happening there, what type of energy is running the situation. That's just an advice that I'm giving as a shaman.
Right,
I think it might work.
now it's more it's not physical anymore because they're not together. So it has to be some type of spiritual stuff going there to have you
Yeah.
there. You're not together. You're in the same household. Why y'all holding each other back? You know
Mm.
why they're holding each other back? Because that's what it looks like. That spiritual connection is hard to break. The physical connection may not be there
Yeah.
because they're not physically, connected anymore. They're not intimate anymore. So now you got to go to the next level of the breakup, and that's the untying those spiritual ties. And maybe she's not really ready to walk away so fast.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's a case
Exactly.
where it's not like they can't find a place to go. It's that they don't want to find a place to go because they want to make this right here work. They want to make where they at work out, even
Yeah.
though it's not working out. Even though every conversation is an argument, it's not working out. They still feel a small thread of holding on.
Yeah. As we speaking
Or
right
somebody
now,
don't want
something
you there.
something just came to mind.
You hear me, Oracle? To
Um.
be somewhere, right, Oracle, and know the person don't want you there. That's weird. So for him to say, I want her out, she
Hmm.
must he don't want her there. And if you still want to be there, that's where the spiritual problem come in. Because there's a psychosis going on. There's something psychology of
Yeah.
that relationship is lost now. It's a control
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
and obsession, the obsession.
Mm.
The fatal attractions are real. And some fatal attractions don't end peacefully. Sometimes they end deadly. And I'm just being real with it. I'm sorry if I'm hurting feelings, but it does. We have to consider the fatal attraction situation.
Mm.
Then you got to go to the higher powers for that. Because you don't never
Yeah.
want to be in a fatal attraction situation where your life be on the line. You don't want your life on the line.
That's true.
Yeah.
I just thought to put that out there.
And these days, we have shamans who go around advertising themselves, saying, I can bring your lover back. I can, I've seen such advertisements going around on social medias, there are these shamans who say, bring your lover back, make your relationship strong, because they have identified the market now, that there is a need for such things. Therefore, they are exploiting that market. They're making money out of it. But yeah, apart from that, I'm just saying, apart from just going out there to want to bring your lover back and strengthen your relationship, you can go and consult with the right shaman, though, not these scammers out there. Um, just to find out whether it is worth it, spiritually, if it's worth it to stay in that relationship or to fight for it, without fighting with hoodoo and all these type of magics, but just finding out if spiritually it is still fine for you to fight for it, and therefore you can have certain mechanisms given to you by your guides, advising you on how to go about it, because we always do things thinking that we are invincible. Certain things cannot come to us, and when they come to us, we become surprised. We are surprised that how did this happen to me, because I thought I'm invincible. Nothing can happen to me. So therefore you ought to allow yourself to be vulnerable to such. You ought to allow yourself to be human, and think that these things can happen to me. Therefore, when they happen, how do I deal with them? How do I handle these things? And this is where we as shamans, we come in. We can either give you therapy, spiritual healing, or we can consult with you, do a reading, and find out what the ancestry is saying about that, what your guides, the spirits, are saying about that. Therefore, you can have some sort of a guideline, some sort of a direction, rather than taking a rope and hanging yourself, or taking poison, killing someone else and killing yourself. Because these are the things that we see out there. These are the things that are happening out there, all because of the attachment that cannot be detached. A person is obsessed or is too attached to someone that they think they cannot live without this person. And therefore, if I cannot live without this person, then I would rather die, and I would rather kill this person, because if I cannot have him, no one else can have him. You see, so these are the things that we find ourselves going through just because of lack of understanding, lack of knowledge of the situation that we find ourselves in. So yeah, if you consult about such things, then maybe you might find clarity, and maybe you can find even some kind of spiritual healing that will enable you to move on if you have to move on.
Yeah, because I've come to realize there's nothing wrong with moving on. Change is good most of the time, especially when it's a positive change. And life is what you make it. Just try and make it. This is a reggae song. Life is what you make it. So darling, my dear, try and make it. I know that you will. Yeah, life is what you make it. So somebody needs to come to that round table and come to the understanding that the relationship is over and that it's not going to work. And you guys X amount of time to leave, because we already came to an agreement that the relationship is over. So you can't tell me you don't want to be with me and then you don't want to get out of my house. That don't make sense.
Yeah.
Once you said you didn't want to be with me, there's no reason you should be here. You can't be living with me telling me you don't want to be with me. Oh, by the way, I'm never living. So I have to live with you until I find a place to go. So now I have to put my life on hold, because I don't want to bring a new relationship into this mess and wait for you to figure out whatever it is you're figuring out, when you think it's time to move on.
Yeah.
That's
And we have the tendency of dragging people along, even though they do not serve a certain purpose anymore in our lives. I've seen in many situations whereby not wanting to let go is for the selfish reason that no one can have you. You are mine. You belong to me. But still, you are not giving back what you are receiving. That thing that you are dragging someone along into your life, being a possession that you own, but you are not giving anything in return. You are not even loving the person. so you can carry on living your own life, having your own enjoyments and fulfillments of life. But on the other hand, having someone um to just be a part of that without any benefits, that's you have people who can marry you and stay with you for certain years, and then they get fed up with you, and then they don't want to leave you. You will still be in the picture, but they move on with their lives. They have other people outside. This is where the cheating part comes in. They can still have other people and live with other people and do whatever they want out there, yet you must stay here, stay in this relationship, don't go anywhere. Even though I don't love you anymore, I'm not fond of you anymore, but you need to stay here. You don't have to go anywhere. So yeah, that's the type of abuse that other people go through out there.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the situations that the brother was trying to express that he's going through. Where it's a situation where she doesn't want the relationship, but you're still living at the house. That's why he's saying, "How do I get her out?" and things like that. And Queen B is saying, use the eviction process. That
Yeah.
right, they don't want you to bite, but want nobody else to have you either. They don't want you a bit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want you a bit,
That's
but they want nobody
that's
else.
that's the selfish part that I'm talking about. The possession part, where you feel that you own somebody, and therefore no one else can have them. You should have them. And it is unfair, because when it comes to the other person freeing themselves, sometimes they can't do it because they are being manipulated, and sometimes being brainwashed into believing that this is the only place that I can be at. I can't go anywhere else. Hence, you have people who are living in abusive relationships and they can't get out. It's not that they can't get out or they don't want to get out, but it's the fact that they have been brainwashed, to think that there is nothing else out there for them apart from what they are having, and it goes back to that notion that says, I'd rather be in this bad situation than to be in a good situation with someone else, because this is all I know. The devil I know is better than the devil I don't know. So that's how we imprison ourselves in these relationships, that we think certain things are love, and only to find that it's not love. It's obsession, it's possession, it's ownership, it's control, and all of that is in the disguise of love. You'll find women saying, he is abusive but he loves me. We've had that. We've had people who are saying, he is abusing me, he is treating me bad, but he loves me. And if you find someone speaking like that, you should know it's not going to be easy for them to walk away from that situation. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah,
because that
go ahead.
because that part where she says he loves me, it erases everything that he does to her. You know, he beats me up. He emotionally abuses me. He doesn't take care of me. He does this and that, but he loves me. You know, when she says but he loves me, it erases all those things, those negative things she said about him. Therefore she is stuck in that relationship. She can't get out.
Exactly. Exactly. When you find excuses for your abuser abusing you, that's what that is.
Yeah,
He abuses me, but he loves me. So
exactly.
in a mind like that, that's a balance. He abuses me on one side of the scale, but he loves me on the other side.
Yeah.
You know, and so I have the bad and the good right there. So that must be correct. That must be how relationships should be. And then you be that for so many years, you think that's the normal.
Yeah. And you ask the one that doesn't want to let go, that doesn't want to leave, though she is being told, leave my house, I don't want you anymore. You know, the man is saying, I don't want you anymore, I don't want to live with you. And he's also taking Queen Bee's advice, bringing the eviction process, you know. But the woman does not want to leave. You ask her, why are you staying here? Because you can see you're not wanted anymore. She will give you the same answer. Though he doesn't want me anymore, but I love him. And I know he loves me. So we can make this work. You know, we can fight for this.
Yeah,
you know, through sickness.
Around, you know, she's sticking around because she thinks that it's gonna fix itself. You know, she doesn't realize she gotta put in the right work to make it work. But if y'all arguing all the time, you can't make that work. So she's going about it the very wrong way, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Or it can just be a whole other scenario that, you know, like we speculating again, but outside of the speculation, it appears to be like maybe subliminally speaking, she's trying to hold on to the relationship. She doesn't want to end the relationship. She's pretending like she doesn't because she said, I don't want you anymore. I'm done with you. You know what I'm saying? But she really doesn't want to end the relationship.
Yeah.
She really doesn't. She's just going about it the wrong way.
And making it work.
She said, I don't want to be with you anymore, but she really didn't mean it. Because when the man starts showing a woman, okay, I'm gonna give you what you want to end it. When he starts showing that, then you really start holding on. So she's really holding on right now. She's holding on like dear life right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
She seen it when she said that. She said it because she was mad, she was upset, she was in her feelings. So of course I'm gonna say I don't want you. I know that's gonna hurt you. But I really didn't mean it. You know?
True.
But now
True.
So now the brother has to look at it as, is this something to be repaired, or do we just move on and part ways? Because it's not going to get repaired. It's just not. Can't move on.
But now we look at what Brother David said. You know, someone was prepared. You know, when she says I don't want you anymore, and those words land on the ears that were prepared to hear those words, definitely there is going to be a breakup, you know. And now the breakup comes from the one who was prepared, the one who had already planned it but didn't know how to do it, you know, or didn't have an excuse to do it. Now you are giving them the excuse by saying, I don't want you anymore. But you don't mean it. Yet he is waiting to hear it. And once he hears it, it's over. Now you change your mind. You want to stick around. You want to fix things. You want to stay. He's already made up his mind.
Yeah. And that's why he says, I want her out. Because he made his mind up
Exactly.
and he accepted the breakup and ready to move on. But
Exactly.
she was just saying that because she was mad. Women say things
But
that
now, her being mad cost her, you know,
that's true.
and
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, she has to now live with the unconscious decision she made for herself, you know. So yeah, I really wish one of them could call me so we can consult about this and find out what's going on before somebody kills somebody.
Well, I'll pass your information on to Kushai Selassie because that's who I'm connected with, and I'll tell him.
Yeah,
I did mention earlier that it'd be good for him to get a consult on this, especially when it's coming to relationship. That's so sensitive and sacred. So those are the
yeah,
times
it's very, very sensitive. Yeah. We
yeah,
need to know what is happening on the other side because
yes,
as we make decisions here, we affect the other side, and
yes,
that's
outside
where
of
our answers come from. Yeah.
right. So
So
he
I'll,
needs the proper guidance, proper instructions on what to do and how to do it to where he won't
yeah,
feel it's hard to be free from it. His head won't be heavy in the night. He'll be able to move forward and make the right decisions without anybody being harmed. It can just end
yeah.
the
If they
way
don't mind, I'd be
started.
glad to assist on that part.
Okay. And the information is in
Yeah.
the chat in case anybody wants to get the Oracle's information out of the chat. I'll put it up on the screen again. It's up here at the top.
Yeah.
David, you still there? You still there, David?
I see he's on mute. He's on mute.
Oh, he probably won't.
And yeah, I'm about to close. I need some rest. We can continue tomorrow, but I think tomorrow we have a different topic, right?
Yeah. This topic is pretty much.
We should be done. We should be done with this topic now. We've had it for 4 times, 4 parts. So we need to move to other issues.
Yes. Yeah. So tomorrow we'll be back on at what time did we say? To the same time? 2:30 Eastern, 8:30 GMT.
Yeah, same time.
All right. So tomorrow 2:30 Eastern,
Yeah,
8:30
African time. Yeah.
GMT.
That will be 8 p.m. for those who are on this side of the equator with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be 8. So it's 8 p.m. You want to do 8 p.m., not 8:30? Yes, peace and blessings, Queen B. Africa.
8:30. 8:30 is fine.
Okay. So I was just saying, give thanks to Queen B. Africa for her contribution to the conversation. Thank you for your wisdom and your knowledge. And may all the blessings be upon you.
Ashe.
Much thanks for the conversation. Love wise to the listeners out there.
May the blessings be.
Yes. So we'll see each other tomorrow, 2:30 Eastern, 8:30 GMT.
Ashe.
Love and gratitude.